Well, one of the things I did with my iPad is when I first joined the session, it asked if I wanted to join the audio. And because of the feedback loop, I went ahead and said no. I could have muted it, but it just saved me having to think about that going forward because I'm not using it, especially in the classroom. This device as a since we have the speakers up top here, there was no reason to use the device for my voice. So I just went ahead and said it was an option when you log in. So I am going to come up and share content because I am a host. And let's see, we've got the screen. Just so you know, when this comes up, you see an image that says screen broadcast, and then it says Zoom or any other devices. And so I'm going to click the Zoom button, and then there's a button right beneath it that says start broadcast. So I'm going to start the broadcast, and therefore you should be able to see my screen. So good, you can see my screen. So I'm going to go through a few things that many different faculty have been talking about that you might use differently. One of the things is, you noticed when Lauren was bringing up the whiteboard and from her computer didn't have a stylus or anywhere to write, that made it very difficult trying to use the mouse or the mouse or the little tracking area. So there's a couple of there's many different options out here, but on the iPad, Pages comes. And I just gave an example of something I could draw, is you could simply draw a graph and do some other things. A lot of math professors, physics, a lot of chemistry, a lot of formulas, a lot of other things like that. You might want to be able to draw charts and graphs and other things like that. So I think that's a nice built-in. You don't have to pay for anything on that, and you can simply do that. So that's just that is just the Pages document that's there. There was another one that was also out there, simple download. It was free as well, called Nevo. And you can see that it's more like a notebook paper that you can simply write, depending on how bad your writing is. Also, you can convert that if you like it, if you look at something like that, and it can convert it to text. So, pretty neat ideas. John Atkinson will talk about how he uses it for his music class as well, but a lot of neat software that's out there to be able to do some things. I also traditionally have a very active classroom, and one of the things I like to do is I've been using the iClicker in the past. Well, I've kind of moved away from the iClicker this year because the iClicker can only give me an ABC or numeric response. And so I picked up a new software that's actually cheaper than the iClicker called Learning Catalytics. And if I can show my screen here, this is a student. Let me go to hopefully I can go back and forth between the student view and, so here's the student view. So let me put up a question. So from my computer, I can send a question to all of the students, and it could be a multiple choice question, like you see here, that they can respond. It could be a written or short answer. They could draw graphs or charts, and you can even group them together in teams. And as a faculty member, you can see all of the responses. So let me see where I am at here. See if I can get back up in my student view. So we've got some different things that come up here. You can see some different results. I can watch students in real time, and that gave me that active learning environment that I had, especially with a very large class of 90 students in a class. I could start to see statistics. I had immediate feedback from them where they were learning or where they were struggling with certain concepts, and I could do that. So that was another neat visual tool that really can help me for feedback, and it really kind of started to replace the iClicker in terms of that, and much less cost. It really is only $12 for a 6-month subscription for students, so you can do that. Oh, you got a little bit better there.
Yes.
Thank you.
So Clark just rotated his iPad. I noticed that when he made the rotation, the text got bigger for you to be able to read. So that's a hint on a mobile device that rotating the screen makes a big difference.
That's really great. You get used to being into different things. As I said, for the Zoom, oops, I'm going to stop my broadcast here. Oh, yeah, I can stop my broadcast here for a second. Now, hold, if I don't do that, then you can't see my camera. I'm going to have to go back, I guess. So a couple of the other things, bringing back to the broadcast, let me just go to camera mode. Share. Stop share. Let me share my. Can I share my camera? Is that what I want to do?
Yeah, if you just go to your apps once you started sharing and then pull up the camera.
There it is. No.
But you got to start sharing first.
I got that. First camera. Photo, iPod, box, website. That one I don't know how to share. Or can I do that in screen share?
So do a screen share, and then once you start the sharing, then go just to your regular apps, and then go straight to the camera.
Oh, that's a good idea. There we go. All right, there is a new feature you might not know about on your iPhones and your iPads. It's under the accessibility. So under general or the settings, accessibility, it's called a magnifier. And you can turn that on. I'll show that to you right now if you can't see that. So under general accessibility, the magnifier. And so I've turned that on. What that is if you do 3 clicks with your on-off switch, 1, 2, 3, it puts you in a magnifier mode, much like the dot camera. So let me show you what that might look like. So let's see where my picture is here. So if you can take a look at this card here, look at the detail you can get up to by magnifying. So the dot cam is fantastic as well on being able to get great visualizations. You can write on it like a whiteboard. As a matter of fact, I saw in the chat earlier that someone asked the question, you know, how can the screen or the cameras hit the whiteboard? I would recommend using the dot cam versus trying to get people to see it, or using the whiteboard or other things on the laptop that actually get recorded. That gets a little far away and you don't get the clarity as you might get on something like this. Even if you were to take, let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. Even if you could take, if you don't, as Joshua said, there's going to be some iPad holders. This is my own iPad holder, but simply I could use that as a dot cam, join in a separate session, and just aim that right down at a piece of paper. So I have a lot of, and I can do that also with a phone, do the exact same thing. So we don't forget that you have some technology, even if it doesn't exist in the classroom, to be able to do some of these things. I, of course, Karen's going to be using, I use the polling features as well as the breakout rooms. I use less of the polling features now because of learning catalytics for me, but the breakout rooms and those pre-assigns are really good as well. Stop the share here. What else was I going to say? A couple of other things that we're going to try out, I'm going to be trying for my lab, is you can see the, maybe move just a little bit, you can see the big TV monitor that was there. This great. This is a really, really neat idea. In cameras, it's got a computer operating system. I guess Windows is already on here. But I'm going to try to be able to use this as a monitor and plug in my microscopes to it and see if it can just sync up that. So we were going to test that later this afternoon, but I may be able to get my microscope tied right into this and then be able to record anything that I see on the microscope because it will be showing on the screen and Zoom will pick it up through the recording. So that's one of the other things from the lab. Also to remember that our document cameras will probably have a link on them. In other words, that document camera is not going to make it back here in the room. And so remembering that the iPad or the phone or any other kind of mobile device that you can, if it's on the park, as Josh was talking, really great technologies to be able to come up and show a student's work or see a demonstration of something. You've got many other options that as well. Let's see if I'm missing anything else that's out here. A couple of things I think we mentioned, but I'll say it again, is that the assignment to breakout rooms and or if you, a lot of faculty are wanting rosters for who's attending their class. And so it's really important that you have the students always sign on, whether it's from their phone or iPad or their computer, using that SSO. So when you go to the sign-on, that you're coming through using your TCU credentials. A lot of students may have created their own Zoom account and thinking that's signing in. And that always will bring them in as a guest through some of your TCU stuff, and therefore you may not be able to see all their names. And just remember, the reporting feature in Zoom does give you a chance to have those names, but if they're signing in, that will really help it. It also will leave them, it will help you in the breakout rooms and not leave them as guests. Is there anything else I wanted to say? Oh, one thing to all faculty, please come back to campus at some point, within earlier the better. I came in on Friday and my computer came on, and all of a sudden it wants to install all of the updates that it hasn't installed since last year, okay? And I was right in the middle of transferring lots and lots of files, and the computer doesn't give you that option to stop the process. So it just shut me down and I had to start all over. So be sure you get back and you sync everything up and you let all the system, the IT stuff happen to your computers or your devices, and you'll be a lot happier that you did and didn't wait for the last moment. I think that's all that I got. I think I did everything. Art, is there anything else that you want to throw in or anything else? I think that's some of the neat ways I'm trying to use the device for a lot of different things. So hope that helps.